There's new concern in Kentucky about funding education and where the money is going. Last week, Commissioner Robbie Fletcher said the Kentucky Department of Education is looking at a funding shortfall of about $40 million in state support for local school districts. And on January 14th, a group known as the Kentucky Student Voice Team filed a lawsuit over Kentucky's education spending. The group claims the state has denied students an adequate and equitable education. On last Monday's Kentucky Tonight, I talked with key lawmakers about that lawsuit and Kentucky's spending on public schools.
With this litigation that you've talked about from the Kentucky Student Voice Team, I'm worried that perhaps they have a legitimate argument. Are our students really getting everything that they need to be competitive in a global market? Is their education equitable from county to county? Is it a good education if it doesn't include arts and humanities? There are so many things that we need to come back to the drawing board and make sure that we're covering, and we can't do that in a budget deficit. We need to be in a much different place financially for our students' benefit. I was really lucky that I was in school when KERA happened, the Kentucky Education Reform Act, because that drastically improved the quality of Kentucky education. But over the course of the last 30 years, we've had some missteps along the way, and I'm not sure we're fulfilling those promises that we made to students when I was young. So I really hope that not only will we address the shortfall, but we'll start strategizing for the future so that students don't feel that they need to be part of advocacy litigation. That's not what I want kids to need to do. I want them to be able to focus on the basics. And right now, that's not the situation.
Well, I think you've seen over the past few years that we've continued to increase that, and we have tried to provide what has been asked for. The talking points that they've used in the past are it's not kept up with inflation and those type things. But as we just saw with data that came out from Kentucky Department of Education, their own data shows that we have kept up and funded even more than adjusted for inflation. So we have continued to provide money for the school districts, and we're going to continue to provide record funding for school districts. That is our priority for the students of this state. I think what you're going to see us at this point do is shift and say, okay, you've continued to come and ask for money. We're going to continue to provide that record funding. But at this point, we're going to start holding you accountable. We're going to look at school districts. We're going to look at school boards and superintendents and say, why is that money not getting down to the classroom? And they're going to have to come in and justify their budgets and show us where they're spending their money so that we can ensure that they're being good stewards of the taxpayer money.
So you can hear more about that part of the conversation, as well as our discussion about artificial intelligence, taxes, and the minimum wage and DEI and so much more. It's all online on demand at ket.org/KY tonight. 4 freshman members of the Kentucky General Assembly will give us their perspectives on the state issues that you care about. That's coming up Monday night on Kentucky Tonight. And as always, we want you to send us your questions and comments. Again, that's Monday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on KET.